Good afternoon, fellow traders. It's Black Coffee Trader. It's Monday. We had a $1,000 green day, and I'm quite happy about it. Only the second green Monday I've had this year, which the year isn't that old, but I made some changes, and it has worked out extremely well. I want to talk to you about that. Let's just dive into today. So actually, let's talk first about the changes I made. Over the weekend, I spent some time kind of pondering. I really didn't do any back testing. It was more just mental pondering over the trading that I've done this year, what's worked, what's not worked, and where I think the problems lie. And I really kind of boiled it down to I have basically three different setups that I look for. One is the mechanical 940 trade, which triggered long this morning for a nice win. The other one is what I call the hitchhiker setup, where I have a move out, a trending move, and then a pullback. And typically I'm looking for a 2-candle pullback. I'm looking for a minimum of 3 bars. If I'm looking at an uptrend, I'm looking for 3 green bars up, 2 red bars pullback, and then take a long. That's what I call my classical hitchhiker setup. And then I also have what's called a key level trade, where I am charting out these levels on the different indexes, and then I am taking trades when we get to those levels, either long, short, based on what I think the market's doing. So key level trade, hitchhiker trade, and the 940 mechanical trade. And I thought to myself, you know, I've really messed up by had my accounts. I have 15 funded Apex accounts, and I've had these accounts into 2 different groups. And I would maybe trade the 940 trade on the days it triggers with one group, and then I would just kind of take trades throughout the day on either group. And what I found was sometimes I would have a red day, and I would make that red day worse by forcing trades, and or I would maybe have a green day on the 940 like I did today, and then I would try to add to it, and it could go the other way, or whatever. And this may seem super simple and maybe even a little bit stupid, but I decided I've got 3 trades. I've got 15 accounts. I'm going to take these in and put them into 3 different groups. One group is going to be for only taking the 940 trade on the days that it triggers. One group is only going to be for key level trades, and one group is only going to be for hitchhiker trades. And that way, there may be days when I don't trade one group. There may be days when I don't trade 2 groups. And there are days when I will trade all 3 like I did today. The good part is I will be able to really see, is there a certain trade that does better than others, which I really like. And what it did for me is it mentally gave me a bit of peace of mind knowing, hey, I'm only going to take the 940 with this group. That's it. I'm only going to take hitchhikers with a group or key level trades. And it really helped me because this group that's red, I took a hitchhiker setup, 1 trade today. It was a red trade and a huge win for me that I've typically really, really hurt myself. I hate losing. And so oftentimes when I see red on my charts, I want to make that back. And that is not in the best interest of a trader. Yes, it's nice to make that money back, but it doesn't have to be today or within the next 10 minutes after taking a loss. So that was a huge win to me. I only took 1 hitchhiker trade, and it was a red trade, and it's okay. I lost $60 on those accounts. Whoop-de-doo, we move on. I took 2 trades on the second group that's $100 in profit. Those were both key level trades. One of them I mismanaged a little bit. I left a lot of money on the table on that trade. And then the bottom group here is the 940 trade, which was very, very nice win today. So anyway, that was the big thing I wanted to share with you is I changed these into 3 groups. And so accounts 82 to 78, the bottom 5 here, will be traded on the 940 trade on the days it triggers. So there will be days where that does not trigger at all, and I will have red days. Right now, the 940 trade on the back testing, I have a live ticker every day. I put data into that spreadsheet. It's just an Excel sheet, but it currently has a 58.9% win rate, and I've got about 5 months of data in that back testing. So that's actually really good. A nearly 60% win rate on a trade that has the very, very key potential to have a $200 day like we did today. I love that. The next group is group 77 to 73, where we have the $100. That group is my key level trade. So that group is only going to be traded when we are at or around a key level of interest, and we are looking at longs and shorts off of that. The top group is from account 72 to 68 is the group that I will be taking my hitchhiker setups. So that's the big change that you're going to see from me going forward, at least. Now we're going to give this a try for several weeks and see how it goes. I really, really like it. It sounds kind of maybe a little bit simple, but it really helped me mentally today. And I took 4 trades and I'm very happy with the results. So let's dive right in. On the hitchhiker trade this morning, and you're probably wondering, well, why is this one only 75 in profit and the rest are at basically 200 if they were all traded on the hitchhiker? Well, what happened is, this triggered long right here, and I took it, but and this is somewhat normal because of the volatility in the open. Now this morning the volatility wasn't that high, but I apparently had a slip fill, and so I got in here and I hit my first profit target, and then on the pullback it hit this first one's profit target a little bit quickly, and then on the pullback, what happens, let me back up a little bit. What happens when I hit my first profit target at 20 points, my stop automatically goes to 1 tick above break even or 2 ticks above break even, something like that. I'd have to check the ATM. And so this one got hit, and on the pullback, it took that trade off. It hit the stop loss, where the other ones it did not. So I just escaped that, and that's really why 4 of them we hit the full 2 profit targets. And then what I do is I manually move once I hit my 40 points. So this is a big move trade. I'm looking for 20 points, not ticks. 20 points on the first trade, on the first profit target, 40 points on the second one, and then once I hit 40 points, I move my stop to 20 points in profit. So on these bottom 4 that didn't get stopped out in the first one, I was out with 80 on the first profit target, 80 on the second, and then on the last profit target, it stopped me out for another 40. So that's where we got the 100. This third target is up at 100 points, not 100 ticks. So it would be a 400 tick profit target. I have a really big target there. So anyway, that's how that trade works, but that's why that is the way it is. But I was very, very happy with that trade. Then on the next trade I took was with account 77 on the hitchhiker, or on the key level trade. This is the one that I'm a little bit disappointed now, a lot disappointed in myself. So I really probably should have been a little bit more patient and waited for a pullback. I was kind of thinking we might pull back more to the level. I didn't really want to jump in right here. I like to see what it wants to do and retest, and we retested perfectly. But I did jump in on this wick, and I held through all this. You know, my stop was about right here, I believe, just under this key level. And you know, the better part there is if I would have waited for this entry, I could have taken that entry and had maybe a 5-point stop, which would have been awesome from a risk reward perspective. But anyway, I didn't. So I went and sat through all that, got my first profit target here, out with 60 bucks. And then we just couldn't move. We just couldn't go, and I was afraid it would fall apart. And I made the mistake of moving my stop loss just into profit by a few bucks. Well, wouldn't you know it, I get stopped out, and then we have the big push rip, and I probably left $100 on the table. So I'm a little bit sad that I didn't manage this as well as I should have. I should have left my stop alone. If I would have got stopped out, it would have been a break-even trade. And I should have done that, because I would not have gotten stopped out. I would have had a really nice trade. So that was a mismanagement on my part. And then I took a second one here at the end of the day. I want you to pay attention to something. This is why I do these key levels. Notice how we had some consolidation right here around these 830s this morning. We had the key level hold right here. This was during the time when Apex was disconnected from Rhythmic, so I couldn't even take this trade. I did take it on an eval, took a nice little win here on an eval, and I really wanted to take a hitchhiker along here, but I could not get into that trade because Apex was disconnected. But anyway, so we consolidated here. We held up nicely here around the 830s, and then here at the end of the day, we wicked down into it. And when I saw this happening, I missed the first wick. I wasn't quite paying attention like I should have been. I was busy doing something else, and I noticed after we had wick down, I told myself, boy, if we see another wick and a pullback, I'm going to get long and see if I can't catch a little move. I wasn't looking for anything big, but I did get in, caught that nice little move there, and got another, what, $50 on that second trade there. So that's what took that up to about 105, 107 per account. So very happy with that, and then we've ultimately kind of fallen apart there. Now on the losing trade, that was on the hitchhiker setup 72. This was a mistake on my part, and I'm really, really happy with myself for walking away and not forcing it. So again, I really had wanted this one, but I couldn't get in because there was some rhythmic issues. The hitchhiker setup I'm looking for is a minimum of 3 candles on an uptrend like we have here. I'm looking for green candles, and then I want a 2 candle pullback and then a green candle pushing back out. So the entry would have been right around here. And that would have been a really nice winning trade, but I couldn't get it. So anyway, I was not really paying that close attention, and I saw this push out, this big wick, which was excellent, and I missed this. I completely missed this setup right here. And then I wasn't paying attention, and all at once I noticed that we had 3 green candles pull back, and we had this push out, and I kind of jumped in and chased it, which was very dumb. And you can see I was never in profit. It just completely fell apart. And then after I was in the trade, I'm thinking, gosh, I should have just waited and seen if another green candle forms, and then we get a pullback for another move. So it was just not a very good hitchhiker setup, and I was out there with a $60 loss. And the big win for me is oftentimes, like I talked about earlier, I would be inclined to jump in and try to force another trade to make that back. And there just wasn't another hitchhiker. And I really wasn't that keen on shorting this market right now. Above VWAP and above this key level, I really just wasn't keen about shorting it. So I just didn't. And I walked away, and you know what? We still had a $1,000 green day, even though we had a little bit of a red trade on those accounts. That's a huge win for me. Huge win for me. So that's a big takeaway. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the market, because we have, in my opinion, a couple of very key levels on the NASDAQ that are in play and probably are going to be in play tomorrow. The first one is the 21,970s. You could say 968, 970. This has been a major rejection point. This was the DeepSeek, can't pronounce that right. The DeepSeek market sell-off right here was the first time we bounced off of this. And then last week, we again bounced off this almost perfectly to the exact same spot. In fact, it was within like a point or quarter point. And we've rejected there. Now, we have held up this 21,830 level very, very nicely today, which was also an area that held last week. So I am very curious if this market, if this holds and we continue to push up, this could be a really good fade spot for a short, or if we push through this and hold it, that could be an excellent long. Now, if you move out to the 4-hour chart, there's another one here that's really big. So here's the 21,970 that we were just talking about, these two big ones right here. And then we have another major hold right here coming in at the 22,100s. We have 1, 2, 3, almost 4 holds there dating back to early December. So if we can get above this and hold, then I think we have an opportunity to maybe get to this level, possibly push through. So either both of these levels, if we happen to get there tomorrow, that would be a really good spot to look for a potential fade. Or obviously, if we break through and kind of retest, to look for that long. That could be really, really, really big in my opinion. So the 22,100s and the 21,970s, two major levels that I think could very much become into play over the next couple of days, especially that we have some news coming out, I think tomorrow, Tuesday. Okay, we have Powell testifying at 10 o'clock. That's a red letter event, or a red folder event, I should say. So it's probably going to move the market. But then we have on Wednesday, we have CPI data coming out. On Thursday, we have PPI data coming out. And on Friday, we have core retail sales. All of those are red folder events. And so those three days back to back to back here at the end of this week are probably going to move this market. Now, it could push it right through some of these areas. We could also fall apart. But if we push, I think the 970s and the 22,100s, very key areas of note to pay attention to on this market. So daily chart, again, you can kind of see these are these big levels right here, a lot of rejections, and right here, a lot of rejections. Those are two areas that I will be watching very much over the next couple of days. ES, I think, is pretty similar. We kind of pushed out. The levels are not quite as not the same exact levels, but we do have a pretty good one here. Actually, a major level one here at about 61.10. Then we have the 61.20s, and then we have, obviously, this one here is pretty clearly defined around the 61.50s. So those are areas of interest on ES. I don't pay that much. I don't trade ES a lot. I have in the past. I haven't recently, but I do look at some of these levels for confirmation of specific moves on NQ as well. So, but anyway, that's a wrap. That's my thesis for where this week is looking at, what things are looking at. So there you have that. Also, I do not want to forget to mention that Apex does have a very nice 80% off sale going on until the 19th of February. So we have quite a few days here of 80% off. Take advantage of that if you need Apex accounts. I definitely personally would really like to get these up to 20. 15 is nice. I've had some of these accounts for over 50 days, but I really would like to get up to 20 accounts. But anyway, that Apex sale is excellent. 80% off, and my code BCT gets you that best deal with Apex and also with Take Profit Trader. And thank you to those of you that support my channel using code BCT. I appreciate that very much. Also, thanks new subs. And again, if you're new here, feel free to like and subscribe. I try to do these updates almost on a daily basis and take you along on my trading journey and share my thesis for where I think the market is at from time to time. So again, appreciate all you guys. Hope you had a great day. Have a good night. Have a great day tomorrow. And we'll do our best to have an update for you very soon. So take care and so long.